arguments look different when you are hungry. The way you argue when you are hungry and the way you argue when you have eaten is different. Oh. In Nigeria, they'll say a hungry man is an angry man. It doesn't make any sense that you'd spend so much on your wedding and you do all of that and then you come home and the drawers are empty and the pot is empty and there's nothing to eat. Hi, my name is Steven and I want to tell you guys the most practical advice I received before getting married. So, in case you're new to the channel, I talk about life, share some of my experiences and my thoughts, and I do some commentary here too. So, let's dive right in. So, around 2020 or 2021, something around there, I had met my wife. I'd asked my wife out, and I knew I wanted to get married to this woman, and I was already preparing for that. So, sometime in around 2021, I think, I was speaking with a friend of mine who, I don't know if you see this video, but his name is Pastor Peter Okunola. Yeah, so I was speaking with him, and he just got married around that period, and he was just sharing with me. I was just speaking with him about married life and all of that, and he told me, he gave me one of the most practical pieces of advice anyone has given to, or anyone gave me in the lead up to my wedding, and it's something that I've told every one of my friends that has gotten married or planning to get married. This is one piece of advice I always give them. So he told me, he said, Steven, before getting married, ensure you stock your house up with foodstuff. Sounds funny, right? So let me explain. Maybe if I give a little bit of cultural context, you'd understand. Now, in case you're watching this video and you're not a Nigerian, you might not really understand why he said that. So let me explain. There's hardly anything called a small wedding in Nigeria. If you're going to make a small wedding, it's extremely difficult, and most times sometimes you might want a small wedding, but your parents want something bigger, this and that, and a whole lot of dragging goes on. And in Nigeria, we usually have 3 weddings. Most people anyway. 3, or is it 3? We can say 4. So we have the court wedding, we have the traditional wedding, which you probably most times have to go to the bride's family, and with the groom and his family goes to the home of the bride and her family to pay her bride price and all of that, and conduct all of those marital rites. The third wedding is the church wedding if you're a Christian, or I think Muslims too usually have some kind of wedding according to their Islamic rites. I'm not too sure about that. And then there's the wedding reception. So those are the 4 typical things that most Nigerians that want to get married, those are the 4 hurdles they have to go through. And he told me, he said one of the best things, although he didn't have an elaborate wedding, but he told me that one of the very important decisions he made was to stock his house up with food. Because at that point, he was just transitioning jobs. His wife was just finishing from NYSC, and they were still trying to find their footing financially. And that was very similar to me when I was planning to get married. Because my wife was just finishing from NYSC. In fact, my wife just finished from youth service, National Youth Service, and she didn't have a job. So this was just like 3 weeks after her youth service. She was just a fresh graduate. She didn't have a job yet. And I also was in between jobs at that point. So I was just switching between jobs, and I wasn't balanced at all financially. And so he told me, stock your ass up with food stuff. Now, I ensure I did that. I think a few weeks to my wedding, I went to the market, I bought food stuff, and I put it in my house. Now, let me explain why I say that is one of the most practical and important pieces of advice I received. Um, the reason I say that is maybe it's just me, but I feel like I often say that I often tell my friends that arguments look different when you are hungry. The way you argue when you are hungry and the way you argue when you have eaten is different. Oh. It's very different because in Nigeria they'll say a hungry man is an angry man. So men and the truth is the most basic necessity in life is food. Food is the most basic necessity. And this video, I guess this video is more targeted towards people who are the average Nigerian, let me put it that way. Not like you're wealthy and you have so much money stored up. And I think also majorly people who are just moving in, let's say you don't have a house, you're just basically starting your life together. And I was saying that the reason why this is so important is that you have your basic necessity met already. So what I did was I can't even remember how much, but probably about 50K. Then 50,000 naira could get you quite a lot of reasonable amount of food stuff that can go for like a month or something beyond that. So I stocked my house up with food stuff, and the reason he told me to do that, he said, when your wedding is getting closer, you end up spending quite a lot of money. Sometimes you end up even spending more money than you planned you're going to spend. So let's say you have some amount of money that, okay, after the wedding, okay, this is the amount my wife and I are going to use to start our lives. Okay, we're going to keep this amount aside, we're going to buy food with it and some basic things. The truth is, it's very likely that because emergencies come up, if someone calls you, we need this, and that, it's very possible that you end up spending the money you're supposed to use and feed your family on the wedding. And as we know, the wedding is not really the important part. The wedding is just for a day. But the marriage, when everybody has gone home, when everyone has finished eating at your party, everyone has finished dancing, when you finish sharing the cake and sharing the rice, when you get home, that's where the life actually begins. And it's actually it doesn't make any sense that you'd spend so much on your wedding and you do all of that and you come home and the drawers are empty and the pot is empty and there's nothing to eat. So it's just practical advice. So this is just me telling you, if you are planning to get married, one of the things I need you to, like I did and I think you should do, is take out a significant amount of money, at least money that can buy food stuff that will feed you for like a month or so, which in Nigeria now, maybe just budget like 100K, something like that, or even if it's 50K, you can get something. Go to the market, buy food stuff and lock it up. Yeah, don't say the food not rich in the wedding, so we are going to use it. Or don't start eating the food stuff before the wedding starts. Let it be that the very first day you take from that food stuff is the day you come home from your wedding. Yeah. Then you start using that. I feel like that is something that really saved my wife and I stress, and it was really helpful. At the end of the day, in fact, we ended up, people sprayed us money, gave us gifts of money, and one of the first things we went to buy was more food. Food is very important though. You would understand. As a married person, one of the things that I prioritize always trying to have in my house is food. Food is very, very essential. So yeah, that helped us. That helped us settle down. So for that first month, I knew I wasn't having to stress myself too much about what are we going to eat. There was already food in the house. So by the time my next salary was going to come in, we weren't breaking our heads. At least there was food in the house to eat. So once that is taken care of, every other thing can kind of find its place. Every other thing you can kind of find a way to fit it all in. So yeah, that is That's how it went for me. So I want to find out, for the married folks who were watching this video, how was it for you? Did you come into your house and there was nothing to eat? Was there plenty in your house to eat? Has anybody given you this kind of advice before? Let me just hear what you think in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video.